Did you know that the nuts we all love so much can significantly raise blood pressure and impair memory, especially after the age of 60? Picture this. A cozy evening. You grab a handful of nuts to go with your tea. Seems perfect. A natural product, full of benefits. Since childhood, we've been told, eat nuts. You'll be smart and healthy. But it's not that simple. As we age, what once strengthened us can start to cause harm. Nuts are indeed a powerful source of fats, vitamins, and trace elements. But not all of them affect the body in the same way. Some of the ones we eat overload blood vessels, provoke inflammation, and interfere with nutrient absorption. The result? Fatigue, blood pressure spikes, brain fog, joint pain. All of this might not just be age, but a reaction to what we eat every day, thinking it's healthy. The good news, it can all be adjusted. Today we'll look into which nuts truly support the brain, heart, and joints, and which ones are better avoided. Rate how helpful this video was for you in the comments from 1 to 10. And I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel. Let's grow together. So, some nuts are our allies, others silent saboteurs. Let's sum it up. Which nuts to keep in your diet, and which to carefully avoid. Today you've learned, not all nuts are equally beneficial. Some help, strengthening memory, blood vessels, heart, and joints. Others harm, causing inflammation, overloading the liver, raising blood pressure. Harmful or conditionally risky. Peanuts, inflammation and blood pressure. Cashews, fat imbalance. Brazil nuts, selenium toxicity. Macadamia, heavy fats and cholesterol. Beneficial and supportive. Walnuts, memory, blood vessels. Almonds, heart, joints. Hazelnuts, energy, elasticity. Pine nuts, immunity, brain. Choose nuts not out of habit, but for their benefits, especially after 60, when the body no longer forgives the unnecessary. Simple rules: 1 to 2 handfuls per day, no salt or roasting, alternate types, pay attention to how you feel. This doesn't mean you have to give everything up. What matters is not the quantity, but the quality and mindfulness. Even favorite foods can be adapted, less often, in the right form. If you found this helpful, leave a like. Tell us in the comments, which nuts do you eat most often? Subscribe, more simple and clear health tips are coming your way. Imagine a clear mind, a calm heart, lightness in your body. You choose foods that work for you, not against. And even at 70 plus, you feel confident, energized, and alive. This one seems like one of the most harmless nuts. Inexpensive, tasty, always within reach, especially roasted with a bit of salt. The perfect snack, right? You open the pack, pour some into your palm, you crack one after another, and before you know it, half the bag is gone. An evening with the TV, a book, some tea, the usual routine. But here's the catch. Peanuts aren't even nuts, they're legumes, and they can be a cause of inflammation and pain, especially after 60. Roasted and salted peanuts, that's a double hit. Salt raises blood pressure, and processed fats increase stress on the joints. Plus, peanuts are one of the most common food allergens. For many, they cause silent inflammation, no rash or coughing, but swelling, pain, and fatigue. Joints start to ache, especially in the morning. Fingers feel puffy. And most importantly, blood pressure spikes. We think it's the weather or just age. But in reality, it's what we eat. But peanuts aren't the only hidden enemy. The next nut looks soft and healthy, but hits the blood vessels hard. Even those who follow a healthy diet love it. Cashews are a favorite for many. They seem perfect, soft, slightly sweet, visually appealing in desserts, oatmeal, even in healthy snack bars. Online, you'll often read, "Cashews are good for energy, for the immune system." But is it really that straightforward? Morning. You're making oatmeal, topping it with a few cashews. Or grabbing a quick snack, a bar with cashews and dried fruit. A soft taste, a melting texture. Feels like it's even better than candy. You feel the energy returning. But behind that pleasant sweetness lies one sneaky detail. Cashews contain a lot of omega-6 fats. And it's not as harmless as it sounds. The body needs a balance between omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. But in most people, especially as they age, omega-6 becomes far too dominant. And cashews, unfortunately, disrupt this delicate balance even more. An excess of omega-6 intensifies inflammation, contributes to narrowing of blood vessels, and can raise blood pressure, especially in those already prone to hypertension or with weakened vessel walls. Additionally, during processing, cashews are often treated with oils and additives that increase the burden on the liver. What happens over time? Blood vessels lose elasticity. A buzzing in the head appears. Blood pressure spikes without clear reason. Fatigue builds up even after rest, and yet you're left wondering why you seem to be eating right. But next comes an even more deceptive nut. It looks large, pricey, trustworthy. But inside, an excess of a substance that becomes toxic to the brain in high doses. Brazil nuts, luxurious, rare, among the most nutrient-rich. They're often praised for their high selenium content, a trace element essential for immunity and hormonal balance. Many have heard the advice, eat 1-2 Brazil nuts a day and stay healthy. But what if just a bit more is already too much? You buy a bag of Brazil nuts to have on hand, one with breakfast, another couple after lunch. Doesn't seem like much. They're so big, oily, filling. It feels like you're making up for a nutrient deficiency. But after a couple of weeks, something strange begins. Mild weakness, brain fog, skin becomes drier, nails more brittle. Sometimes dizziness or even irritability sets in. Why? Brazil nuts contain extremely high levels of selenium. Yes, the body needs it, but only in microdoses. Just 2 to 3 nuts can exceed the daily recommended amount by 3.4 times. And excess selenium is toxic. The aging body is especially sensitive to it. Brain function is impaired. Cognitive gaps appear. Skin and nails suffer. Drowsiness, anxiety, and hand tremors may occur. But most people don't connect this to the nuts. Month after month, the toxicity builds up, and what seemed like a vitamin-rich snack slowly chips away at your health. This is especially dangerous if you're taking supplements or multivitamins. They often already contain selenium, which means overdose comes faster. Women 60+ are especially vulnerable. The thyroid is unstable, blood vessels are sensitive, the liver is weakened. And toxic selenium excess worsens all of these weak points. Now imagine a nut often served as a delicacy, found in expensive sweets. But its fats can hit the heart and liver, and especially cholesterol. Macadamia. The name sounds elegant, luxurious. This nut is often called the royal nut. It's added to chocolate, desserts, and premium mixes for healthy snacking. It's rich, buttery, melts in your mouth. It seems, if you're going to eat nuts, let it be these. A gift box with beautiful white macadamia kernels inside. You take one, then another, savoring the taste. Or a healthy morning snack, kefir and a few macadamia nuts. Seems perfectly fine. But macadamia can become a heavy burden for your blood vessels, liver, and heart, especially if eaten frequently. Macadamia is the leader in saturated fat content among all nuts. Unlike the gentle fats found in walnuts or pine nuts, saturated fats raise levels of bad cholesterol, LDL, reduce the elasticity of blood vessels, strain the liver. After 60, the body has a harder time processing such fats. And in women of this age, the cardiovascular system is especially sensitive. And to make things worse, macadamia is often paired with sugar or chocolate, a double hit. What does this mean in reality? Fatigue even after a short walk, heaviness in the right upper abdomen, blood pressure spikes for no apparent reason, elevated cholesterol in test results. And yet the person thinks, but I'm eating right? Not all nuts are harmful, though. There are some that truly support the brain, memory, and blood vessels, real allies, especially after 60. The first one is familiar from childhood. Its shape seems to hint it's meant for the mind. Walnuts, familiar since childhood. Their taste is like a memory, warm, rich, comforting. In the countryside, they were cracked open with a stone. In the city, bought in paper bags. They don't need advertising. Even our grandmothers said, "Eat them. They're good for your brain." An autumn evening, on the table, a cup of warm milk and a small plate of shelled walnuts. The kernels look like a brain, as if nature itself is telling us, this is food for the mind. You take a half, taste the oily, slightly bitter richness. And there's truth in that visual resemblance. Walnuts are one of the few nuts that actually support brain and vascular function, rather than disrupt it. They contain omega-3 fatty acids, which improve cerebral circulation, lower bad cholesterol levels, reduce inflammation in blood vessels, help regulate blood pressure. Walnuts are also rich in vitamin E and polyphenols, which protect brain cells from aging, and they provide gentle satiety without spiking blood sugar. Regular consumption of walnuts improves memory and focus, supports blood vessel elasticity, lowers the risk of stroke and hypertension, helps with atherosclerosis, provides a feeling of fullness without heaviness. This becomes especially important after 60, when the brain and heart need careful support. But this is only the beginning. There's another nut, praised in ancient texts. It was used as a symbol of strength, purity, and beauty. And today, it can become a true support for the heart and joints. Almonds, a nut with history. They're mentioned in the Bible, in ancient Persian texts, in Eastern tales, considered a symbol of strength, beauty, and purity. Today, almonds are back in fashion, added to yogurts, oatmeal, salads, turned into milk and flour. But behind the trend lies real benefit, especially for women in their mature years. Early morning. You grate a little almond into a salad, or take a small container with you, a handful of nuts to snack on after a walk. They crunch pleasantly, leave a faint, sweet aftertaste. Not heavy, not greasy, just enjoyable. But the most important thing about almonds isn't the taste, it's the nutritional content. They seem made for those who care about their heart, bones, and joints, and especially for women 60 plus. Almonds are rich in magnesium, calcium, and vitamin E, exactly what is often lacking after age 50-60. Magnesium supports heart rhythm, relieves tension, and helps manage stress. Calcium strengthens bones and joints. Vitamin E fights inflammation, improves skin condition, and protects blood vessels. On top of that, almonds are one of the few nuts that don't trigger inflammatory reactions and are suitable even for sensitive digestion. When included in the diet regularly, bad cholesterol levels decrease, the heart muscle becomes stronger, joint pain and stiffness ease, skin becomes firmer, anxiety decreases, sleep improves. Almonds work gently but steadily and are especially helpful for those who take care of themselves but don't want to rely on medications. And now, a nut that's often underestimated. Yet it can become a true energy shield, especially if you feel constantly fatigued. We're talking about something often found in baked goods, but on its own, a real gift for your blood vessels. Hazelnuts, modest, slightly spicy, often hidden in chocolate or pastries. Many remember them from childhood. Grandmothers added them to pies, tucked them into cakes. But few know that this nut by itself is a real source of gentle energy and vascular support, especially after 60. You make your morning porridge and add some grated hazelnut, or take a few nuts with you on a walk to restore energy. They crunch lightly, but don't feel heavy. Mildly sweet, with a cozy aroma. Hazelnuts may seem simple, but they contain a whole arsenal of nutrients that help fight fatigue, improve circulation, and support blood vessels. This nut is rich in vitamin E, arginine, and folic acid. Vitamin E strengthens blood vessels and protects cells from aging. Arginine dilates blood vessels, improves circulation, and helps with varicose veins. Folic acid supports heart and brain function. Besides, hazelnuts are easily digested and don't cause discomfort, even in those with a sensitive stomach. Regular consumption of hazelnuts brings noticeable results. The feeling of brain fog disappears, fatigue after physical activity lessens, microcirculation improves, especially in the legs, skin becomes smoother with a healthy glow, blood pressure stabilizes. Gently and naturally, hazelnuts aren't a trendy superfood. They're a reliable, accessible ally, especially if you want to feel more energetic without coffee or pills. But there's a nut that brings not only energy, but also calm. It comes from northern forests, tiny in size, yet a powerful supporter of the brain and immune system. Small, pale, and aromatic, pine nuts seem to carry the strength of the Siberian taiga. They're harvested by hand, cleaned with care, and stored like treasure. Many consider them a delicacy, but for older adults, they're more than just a treat. They're true support from nature. You take out a jar of pine nuts, scoop a spoonful, and add them to cottage cheese or porridge. Their taste is soft, creamy, with a subtle pine aftertaste. Not overly sweet, not heavy, just a pure sense of benefit. And indeed, pine nuts work gently, but powerfully, especially where support is needed most: memory, immunity, and the nervous system. They are rich in zinc for immunity and hormonal balance, B vitamins for brain function, concentration, and protection against age-related decline, polyunsaturated fats for blood vessels and gently lowering blood pressure. They also contain antioxidants that improve skin condition and protect cells from aging. Most importantly, pine nuts don't cause inflammation, unlike many other nuts. If you eat 1-2 teaspoons a day, anxiety decreases, mood levels out, mental clarity and physical lightness appear, colds become less frequent, blood pressure becomes more stable, skin and nails improve within 2 to 3 weeks. This is especially important if you feel your memory isn't what it used to be, and your immune system feels weakened.